Avenue. What started as some workers complaining about a nasty smell coming from an impounded whip turned into one of the most twisted cases ever to hit a rising music star. The ride in question, a Tesla registered to 20-year-old crooner David Anthony Burke, better known by his stage name David. This the same young blood who had the whole world vibing to hits like Romantic Homicide and Here With Me tracks that had collectively pulled billions of streams on Spotify. But on that Monday morning, David's name was about to get tied up with some way more sinister business than chart-topping bangers. Real talk. The whole situation jumped off when workers at the tow yard started smelling something foul coming from that Tesla. When the boys in blue rolled up and popped that front trunk, what they call the frunk on these electric whips, they found something that was about to haunt this investigation for months. No cap. Inside that joint was a badly decomposed body all wrapped up in a bag. The remains were so messed up that trying to ID whoever it was seemed damn near impossible. The body wasn't even whole, weighing about 71 lbs, and it was clear this person had been gone for a minute. What made this whole discovery even more twisted was the timing. Bro. While police were processing this grisly scene in LA, David was out here performing sold-out shows on his WeWorld tour. Homie had a show scheduled for September 9th at the Fillmore in Minneapolis, the exact same day they found the body. At first, the streets and the media were showing love to the young king. Real recognized real, and he was on tour when the body got discovered. Plus, his Tesla had been reported stolen about a week before. The word on the block was that somebody jacked his ride and used it for some grimy business. No, listen. He didn't do it. He literally performed the next day. If he was a suspect, the police would have been after him. He's not a suspect. He's not just escaping the police clutches. But even from jump, there were some red flags that this case wasn't as clean as it seemed. That Tesla had been sitting abandoned in the Hollywood Hills for about 5 days before it got towed, and neighbors had been smelling something funky, but thought it was just some dead animal or whatever. What really got people's antennas up was how quick the big brand started moving different. Both Crocs and Hollister straight up dropped this man from their campaigns right after the news broke, which suggested they knew something the public didn't. I think it's like almost obviously not him. But what's weird is that Crocs dropped him. Yeah, why would they do that? That's weird. The victim's description painted a real tragic picture. No lie. The remains were from a female about 5'1" with wavy black hair. She had on a tube top, black leggings, some yellow metal chain bracelet, and stud earrings. But the most significant detail was this small esh tattoo on her right index finger. That tattoo detail was about to crack this whole case wide open for real. To understand why this discovery hit so hard, we got to break down who David really was before this mess popped off. Born in Queens, New York, this young king moved down to Houston, Texas when he was coming up. He got homeschooled after 7th grade and stayed solid with his Christian faith. Homeschooling really takes a toll on a kid. Like isolation. Yeah. And there's outlets like I know I'm talking to, I made a couple friends now that were homeschooled. But they had like these groups that they would go to like bi-weekly and just to socialize. Dude seemed like the perfect example of the American dream. A talented young blood who came from nothing and made it to the top through pure hustle and creativity. I didn't have that. Like there was no like extracurricular activities I was involved in, it was just me at home playing Fortnite, getting schoolwork done, learning how to code and build computers for 4 years. David's come-up story was different from most cats in the game. His music journey started in 2021 making gaming montages for Fortnite on YouTube, where he had to create his own tracks to avoid copyright drama. What started as solving a business problem ended up getting him signed to Darkroom and Intercope Records. The story of how he got into music reads like some modern-day hood fairy tale. Straight up. Back in November 2021, David was getting heated about copyright strikes killing his gaming video revenue. When he went crying to his mom's about losing that bread, she dropped some game on him that changed everything, armed with nothing but an iPhone, some Apple earbuds, and a free app called BandLab. David started cooking up tracks in his sister's bedroom closet. He'd search YouTube for tight beats, download them, and lay down vocals using just his phone's mic. That lo-fi intimate sound that became his signature wasn't some artistic choice. Homie was just working with what he had. You feel me? You download this app called BandLab. You can make your own vocal change. That's what makes or breaks an artist on BandLab is your vocal chain. Because what kind of made my sound popular was because it sounded good. Like the quality. His breakthrough track, Romantic Homicide, dropped July 20th, 2022. And that joint went stupid. Eventually peaked at number 3 on the Hot Alternative Songs chart and hit number 33 on the Billboard Hot 100. The whole track was created using that same DIY method. Recorded in his sister's closet on his phone with lyrics that seemed to come straight from his soul. But looking back, there was something real off about this young cat's quick rise and the dark themes in his music. Romantic Homicide had some lyrics that, in hindsight, seemed way too real. The track had lines like, "In the back of my mind, I killed you. And I didn't even regret it. I didn't kill her physically. In the back of my mind, she died. And I didn't even cry, not a single tear." When David broke down the song's meaning in interviews, he said it was about killing thoughts and emotions in his head, not actual violence. At the time, that interpretation made sense. Just a young dude processing complex feelings through his art. What fans thought was creative storytelling was about to be seen in a whole different light. So it's all in the mind, because that's the most secure place you can be is in your mind. So if you can expel that thought from your mind, then everything else will just come together. By the time this Tesla situation jumped off, David had leveled up from a Fortnite gamer to a multi-platinum artist pulling billions of Spotify streams. Homie had been touring with major acts, hitting festivals and building a loyal fan base who saw him as keeping it 100 for his generation. His music spoke to isolation, heartbreak, and finding connection in this digital world. Themes that hit different for young cats who came up during the pandemic. The streets got all the receipts. David kept his personal business mostly on the low. Despite blowing up, he stayed posted up in Houston with his family, still cooking up tracks in that same bedroom closet where it all started. He kept his Christian faith strong and was still hitting family Bible studies every week, presenting himself as a grounded young king who didn't let success go to his head. The faith-based thinking and just being grounded on the rock of God is just like it helps me in so many aspects to staying level-headed and staying on the ground and staying realistic and not getting too big of a head. And my family is very, very supportive, and they are my support system, and they guide me through this whole thing. We have family Bible study every Saturday. The contrast between this wholesome image he was pushing and what was about to come to light was going to make this scandal hit that much harder. No cap. As the investigation got rolling, David's crew said he was cooperating with the feds while keeping his tour moving. The statements were careful, acknowledging the situation while maintaining his innocence and cooperation. His legal team was telling everybody to direct questions to law enforcement, which showed they were taking it serious, but weren't in full panic mode yet. That Tesla itself was a crucial piece of evidence. Straight up. The 2023 model had Texas plates and was registered under David's government name. It got found in the Bird Streets area of Hollywood Hills. That's some expensive real estate where abandoned whips get noticed quick. You feel me? The location itself raised mad questions. Why would somebody dump a Tesla in such a visible bougie neighborhood? The investigation faced some real challenges from Jump Street. The body was so decomposed that figuring out basic facts about the victim, including age, race, and cause of death, was going to be difficult as hell. The body had been wrapped in plastic, which showed somebody tried to contain the smell and evidence, but that effort ultimately failed. You know what was put in that bag? There where the body had been dismembered, and maybe they don't have enough, at this point, to positively say, this was the cause of death. The forensic timeline suggested the body had been in that whip for a minute, possibly weeks or months. This meant whoever put it there had done the deed way before the car got abandoned and discovered. The implications were wild as hell. Somebody had been riding around with human remains in their car for an extended period. Despite these challenges, investigators had some advantages for real. Tesla vehicles are basically computers on wheels storing mad data about their operation, where they've been, and usage pattern. The car's internal systems would provide a detailed record of where it had been when it got driven, and potentially even who was operating it. The neighborhood where they found that Tesla also offered investigative gold. The Burt Streets area is known for being security conscious, with many cribs equipped with surveillance systems. Ring doorbells, security cameras, and other monitoring devices could potentially provide crucial evidence about when the car got abandoned and by who. As word of the discovery spread through the streets and social media, everything went crazy with speculation and theories. David's fanbase, known for riding hard for their boy, initially came to his defense. Many pointed out that Homie had been on tour performing in front of thousands of witnesses when the body got discovered. The timeline seemed to clear him. How could he be involved when he was hundreds of miles away performing on stage? But other voices in the hood started raising uncomfortable questions. Why did major brands immediately distance themselves from David? What did they know that the public didn't? And why was a decomposed body found in his personal ride regardless of where he was when it got discovered? The case had all the makings of a street legend, a young talented artist at the height of his fame, a mysterious death, and a web of connections that was about to unravel in the most shocking way possible. What investigators didn't know at the time was that they were about to uncover some real dark business that would challenge everything the public thought they knew about their latest musical sensation. 8 days after that gruesome discovery, the LA County Medical Examiner's Office dropped news that was about to rock everybody's world. On September 17, 2025, the body got officially identified as Celeste Rivas Hernandez, a 15-year-old shorty who had been reported missing from Lake Elsinore, California on April 5, 2024. The ID hit the music industry and the public like a freight train. No cap, this wasn't just some random missing person. This was a teenage girl who had been gone for over a year, and now her remains got found in the whip of one of the music industry's rising young kings. But the most disturbing detail that came out was what helped investigators make that positive ID: the small Esh tattoo on her right index finger. This ink wasn't just some random body art, it matched a nearly identical tattoo that David had on his right index finger. The connection was undeniable and straight up disturbing. TMZ reported that Celeste's tattoo was in red ink, while David's matching tattoo was in black ink. David had first been spotted with his shish tattoo in September 2024, months after Celeste had gone missing. We had actually spoken to Celeste's mother last week, and at that point the police had said that the tattoo was there. But the mom told us more information which the police had not released, which was that the tattoo was in red ink. The situation got even more twisted when Celeste's moms told authorities that before her daughter went missing, she had mentioned having a boyfriend named David. Now the connection wasn't just circumstantial. There was a direct link between the victim and the singer. She told us that she was aware that there was a boyfriend named David and that her daughter had a tattoo with the letters SH on her right index finger. Celeste Rivas had been just 15 years old when she vanished, though some unverified social media posts suggested she was 13 or 14 at the time she went missing. She lived in Lake Elsinore, a city in Riverside County about 70 miles southeast of Los Angeles. It's a working-class community, far removed from the glitz and glamour of Hollywood, where David's career was taking off. Her birthday was September 7th, a date that was about to take on some real sinister significance as more details came out. Celeste was described as having wavy black hair and standing about 5'1". She came from a Hispanic family and had been living a typical teenager's life before everything went left. As investigators and journalists started digging deeper, more evidence of a relationship between David and Celeste began surfacing. Photos got posted on social media showing them together, including images that appeared to show them on FaceTime with friends. One particularly disturbing image allegedly showed them together at 3:51 a.m., raising serious questions about what type of relationship this really was. The timeline of their alleged relationship painted an even more troubling picture. Real talk. According to social media posts and online discussions, the relationship allegedly started when Celeste was as young as 12-14 years old, while David would have been 17-19 at the time. Given David's birth date of March 28, 2005, This would place the beginning of their alleged relationship sometime between 2020 and 2022, when he was still grinding to build his music career, when the truth hit different. Recently, screenshots of alleged conversations started circulating online, supposedly showing David communicating with Celeste when she was just 13 years old via Discord. These messages, if they're authentic, would be straight-up evidence of an inappropriate relationship with a minor. The screenshots allegedly showed communications from 2022, when Celeste would have been 13 during the same period when David was experiencing his breakthrough with romantic homicide. But the most disturbing part of the case was what came out about Celeste's final months. Friends posted messages from April 29, 2024, weeks after she had been reported missing, showing that she was still alive and communicating with them. These messages painted a picture of a young girl on the run, hiding from her parents, and in a relationship that her friends were clearly worried about. The messages revealed some really dark details about Celeste's state of mind and her relationship with someone referred to only as David. In one exchange, she wrote about being scared and mentioned that he came back crying and told her friends, "Do not text me." The context suggested she was hiding with someone and was afraid of being discovered when friends expressed concern for her safety and asked if she was going to continue talking to David or going back with him, because they didn't want her to get into any more trouble with him. Her response was chilling. "I'm safe." "No, I'm not." These conversations revealed several disturbing elements. First, Celeste's friends knew she was in some kind of dangerous situation involving someone named David. Second, they knew she was hiding and using a burner Instagram to communicate. Third, there were references to intimate activities that suggested an inappropriate sexual relationship. One particularly disturbing exchange involved Celeste discussing intimate physical details with her friend, including references that suggested sexual activity. The conversation implied that she had been sexually involved with David and that her friends were aware of this relationship. For a girl who was 14 or 15 at the time, any sexual relationship with David, who was 19 or 20, would be statutory rape under California law. The final messages from Celeste suggested she was trying to distance herself from David but was scared. Her friends kept checking on her, telling her to stay safe and not to delete her Instagram account so they could stay in contact. The last communications showed a frightened teenager who felt trapped in a situation she couldn't escape. These revelations completely destroyed that initial theory that David's car had been jacked and used by someone else. There was now clear evidence that David had known Celeste, had been in a relationship with her, and that she had been alive and in hiding for weeks after being reported missing. The case took on even more sinister vibes when reports surfaced about alleged hush money payments. Instagram posts from users claimed that David had been paying people to keep quiet about his relationship with a minor. One post allegedly stated that a friend had been shown evidence that David owed money in Lake Elsinore for being with a minor. The allegations suggested that people in David's circle knew about his relationship with Celeste, but had been paid to keep their mouths shut. This painted a picture of a systematic effort to conceal an illegal relationship with financial incentives used to ensure silence from those who might otherwise have snitched to authorities. But perhaps the most twisted detail was yet to come. Investigators and online sleuths started examining the timing of Celeste's disappearance and death in relation to David's music releases. Celeste's birthday was September 7th, and on that same date in 2022, David had released Romantic Homicide, the song containing lyrics about killing someone in his mind. The timing became even more disturbing when investigators determined that the Tesla had likely been parked and abandoned on September 7th, 2025, exactly 3 years after the song's release, and on what would have been Celeste's 16th birthday. The symbolic significance of this timing was impossible to ignore. It appears she may have been killed on her birthday. She may have been killed on September 7th. The body was actually located in the impound in the back of the Tesla on September 9th. This wasn't the only musical connection that had people shook. Reported messages from Celeste's brother claim that David had written an unreleased song titled Celeste with lyrics referencing her, including lines about the girl with my name tattooed on her chest. These alleged messages also claimed that the brother had found evidence of private communications between David and Celeste, including declarations of love and photos. The brothers' alleged statements painted a picture of a family that suspected something was wrong, but felt powerless to do anything about it. According to the social media post attributed to him, he had tried to provide evidence to